Hi, so Charlie giving you Friday's live trading. It's actually nearly quarter past 8. I'm a bit late getting started with this morning. I was looking at it earlier on, wasn't seeing too much. I thought I'd nip upstairs and start getting ready, and then come down and see the euros had a little plunge here. But I wouldn't have got in on that anyway, to be honest. What I was looking for was it to move up to its 5-minute 50 up here, but obviously that's not going to mean much now. I was looking for it over here to do it, so I thought I'll nip up, start getting ready, and anyway, to plunge down. So completely square this morning. So it's just a case of seeing what I can find. There's not a lot of news out this morning. A bit of news out at lunchtime, but I'd rather get the trading out of the way this morning if I could, rather than having to wait till lunchtime. But I'm just going to have a quick look around and I'll come back to this. Okay, so Euro's had a bit of a bounce. I'm going to give it a shot at a short if I can get some a few units in. It'll just be won't be for much because I'm not expecting this to necessarily completely go down. So I put 4 units in, and let's see if we can get the stops in. Let's get all this sorted out quickly, and then I'm not looking, like I said. Oops, I'm trying to drag this across the page. Like I said, I'm not looking for lots of points. Here, just basically to come back down to the lower bands, and then and the lower bands on the 15-minute chart, which is down. We'll call it around about 20. So not a lot of points there. So I'll just get these stops in. I'll press pause. Yeah, I was really quick in trying to get that one in there, and because what I'd seen is, let's just get rid of that for a minute. We'd had this nice little rally up, and I was watching the slightly higher time frame charts. I could just see that potential for that dip back down into this zone. I've put my stop literally at 35. My entries are about 30, I think. Let's have a look here. Yeah, entries are at 30. My stops are at 35. I've just put them in very quickly. So 35 is literally probably not even this high actually. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, so they're tight, but I want it to just pretty much react down straight away. Now what I'm going to do is I'm keeping it tight here because it's a midway point and it could want to rally further. So I didn't want to give it a wide stop. So I could get stopped out very quickly here. Didn't feel the need to give it a wide stop. It was going to come down. It's going to come down. Hopefully I don't get nicked and it still comes down. But so I'm giving it very tight. If we can get down into that zone, then I've got limit orders because I was making my porridge whilst I was doing all that, so I was running around. I've got limit orders down there at 20, and then I'll leave one open, and we'll just see with the remainder. But because obviously we've had a bit of a move down on the euro, but there's always the potential for it to bounce. I'm seeing some support on some higher time frames, and so if it was to bounce, then I'm not going to take that risk with a big stop here today. So but I can still see the potential for this dip back down, so we'll see. So if we can dip down, then we'll start triggering out the limit orders down here. So I've literally just put it in at 20. I'm watching the 15-minute chart. I'll show you what I'm actually looking at. It's this lower band here on the 15-minute chart, which I think is around about 20, maybe not quite. So that's what I'm watching off screen. So I may override those. If you see me overriding my limit orders, it's because we've hit that level on the 15-minute chart. So I don't know whether to press pause and start eating or not, because you know what will happen. I'll press pause and it'll start moving. So I'll have to press pause for a second. Okay, so I've just had a look. It's actually about 23 is the low on the chart. So we're probably looking at about 24 on here. So as we're getting close there to that level, I will have to override it. There we go, it's the 23. So I'm going to take one off there. So I've actually overridden the limit orders because the limit orders weren't quite right. I just put them in obviously at that level. Let's take another one off. Now we're probably going to get down there anyway now, but I better take those 2 of them off anyway, and we'll just see if we can get lower. But we have hit this lower band here on the 5 and the lower band on the 15. So we'll just see if we can get this at the next level, and then what I'll do, if we can go lower, then obviously I'll just hold on to a single position. So let's get that third position off. Sorry, as we've come down there. So I've got that third position off. What I'll do now, this is all small stuff here this morning because basically we're playing around a lot of support of the prior day's lows and some pivot support and a 4-hourly support. So now obviously if we can break and then just carry on rolling, then great. Then I'll just try and hold on to this. But for now I'm just going to trail that stop down aggressively, move it down to effectively my break-even point. It won't be quite break-even. I'm trying to give it a few points, but it's a high risk by moving it stop down to that level of getting stopped out. But I might as well just preserve some of those gains, and then we can move into whatever other trades with a little bit of a buffer behind me on that, because I'm not entirely trusting of this to carry on coming lower. So that's where we are at the moment. So I just saw that opportunity. I've got in a bit late there because we were up against we'd already hit the 21, the blue line here. And what do you see when you're using the, actually no, I can't tell you what I do when I'm using the bands. No, it's all around the bands this morning. It's about the momentum, as always. Momentum was down this morning, but sometimes you've got momentum can be down, but trend overall, this is the hourly chart, can be up. So you've got that little bit of conflict if you're coming down to sort of support zones. So you have to be careful around that and read it. But effectively what had happened was I knew the momentum was down, so I knew I had that to a degree on my side, but I knew that there was that risk of all these supports on the higher time frames. That was the hourly chart there. But more importantly, it was as far as the entries were concerned, it was all about the bands this morning. So it was about some of the bands in the mid time frames. So there's the clue for you people that obviously have all the bands. Right, I'll press pause for the minute. Okay, just back. So it's come up and it has just nicked me out there. It came up to 30 or 35 or whatever. So it's just stopped me out. Let's bring that up. Oh, 30 wasn't it? I'd moved my stop to 30. Yeah. So it's come up just beyond 30, as we can see. It's coming up to what, 35, 36, just whilst I've been off the mic there, and and then coming back again. That'd be funny if it then completely rolls over. But even if I'd have left my stop at 35, I still would have got stopped there actually, because it's gone up beyond that. So at the moment, just playing a waiting game, not seeing anything too much this morning. I think I've got lucky finding that this morning, really, just for those few pips. I think I got a bit lucky there, really, because I was literally sitting here thinking, oh, it looks like I'm not going to be trading this morning. There's no news out this morning. We've got news out at 1:30, so it looks like at this stage I might be playing a waiting game now until later today. So we've got a little bit in the bag, but we'll have to see. That might act as a buffer if I was to lose this afternoon a little bit, or it might add to those to any wins that I have. So at the moment, hard to say. Now the euro's just, like I say, just backed off again a little bit, but it does have the potential. I can see the potential for it to come up to 113.50 or so. Hence why I was trading this tight anyway, in case it does just comes down and then does a reversal. So I'll press pause for now, and we'll come back to this later. Well, so far the euro has come back down a bit. It's come a little bit lower, but remember, even if I had still been in with one unit, I wouldn't have come out yet, because I'd have been looking for this to come all the way down, and so maybe it's going to, and that would just be unfortunate that it did that blip up. But like I said, I moved my stop to break even. Even if I'd have left it at 35, it'd have stopped me out because it came up to 36. So we'll have to wait and see now what's going to happen. It could just be that it's just come down that little bit lower and just playing around, and it's still going to go up, which in many regards, obviously, I'd rather that happen rather than sitting there on the outside saying, oh, I was in that and I got nicked out. But we shall see. But for now, I think it's going to be a case of just playing a waiting game. I can't see anything else currently setting up, so it's going to be a slow one this morning. I'll press just back, and as we can see, unfortunately, the euro did come down lower, so would have ended up having some points out of that. One of those things, c'est la vie, that can't always have it your own way. So, but like I said earlier on, it would have nicked me anyway. So maybe then you can argue, oh, your stop was too tight, but I saw the potential for the market to come up to 113.50 potentially. So today, I thought I'd keep it tight. So anyway, for now, it's come down lower. So I'm going to head off down to the gym, and we'll come back to this and look at trading over the news later. Okay, so it's now coming up to it's 1:26 p.m. I haven't done anything more all morning. I can see that the dollar CAD's had a really good run, and we've got some news coming out just in 3 minutes or so's time. So it's had a very good run, but it has hit quite a bit of resistance. So I'm looking for potential entry to see if we can sort of scalp some points to the downside. So If I get a little bounce up to this upper band here, I'm going to look to take an entry, put a stop above the high, and then see if it can then roll over a bit more. So that's the plan anyway. I'm either going to get stopped or very quickly. It'll be a very, very quick stop out. So I'm actually going to go in. I'm going to have to go in just ahead of the news. I don't think the news is too major. Let me just double check. Actually, it might be, because if it's a major piece of news, then it's a little bit more. Oh, it is. I'm just being told by the guys in the room. It's actually CPI, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's CPI and retail sales. The problem I'm going to have here is if I take a trade early here, and it shoots up, and I'm wrong, and it shoots up, what could happen is I could suffer a decent amount of slippage on my trade. So the downside is that if without being able to get in early, it could just shoot down, and then I can't get in, and that's a real dilemma here today. That it could do that. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Ricky. So one of our guys in our trading room is just saying that the last time, it had a decent amount of movement. So it's a really tough call. But it's 1:28 now, so we've got 2 minutes to go, and I think it's going to be it's a tough call to say, or should I go in here? Because I think if it fires off, I'd probably suffer 20 or 20 pips of slippage. So what I'm going to have to do is wait and then see if I can then get in after the news. I'll press pause for now. Okay, so we have got about 15 seconds to go. We can see what's going to happen is my spreads are all going to widen up. We can see it's already starting to come down a little bit here at the moment. I'm just playing around. So whether I'm going to look at the spreads, they've gone to 12 pips. So there's nothing I can do at the moment anyway ahead of the news. We've got a couple of seconds. Here we go. It's gone up. Let's just watch it. It's gone up. It's gone down. It's already come down. That's the problem. As we can see after the fact, it's hit that upper band. But I had no chance of getting in there with the spreads being at 12 pips, and then it's shot straight down and then shot straight back up again. So it's sort of come down to those target levels. I was just talking to the guys about it coming down into the 40s, and then it's come straight back up again. Mixed news, right? Thanks, guys. So it is a bit of a mixed news event. Let's see. Maybe I should give this a bite. What are we at? But it has already come down and hit some support. I'll press pause for a second. Okay, so I'm going to leave this, obviously, this dollar CAD alone. There's no point. It's it came straight down into that support zone, and it's come straight back off. So I can't really do anything with that that I can justify with now. So it's had its down move flush. It's hit too much support, and it's now having a nice run up. So I'll leave that one alone. I'm still going to have a look at the markets a little bit, but it's looking more likely that this could be the only trade of the day for the video update this week. So I'll press pause now. Okay, guys, I say guys on the video update. What we're looking at, one of the guys in the trading room has just identified a potential opportunity. It's a higher risk opportunity of getting stopped out. But what I'm going to do is massively downsize. This is the pound dollar. It's coming up towards its upper band here. I can put a short on with just a half a lot, just a half a unit. Put my stop at the high, but then see if it can run it all the way down if it was to roll over. I really do not know if it's going to, but it's not going to cost me much. There we go, put the short on there. So I've put the short in with half a lot right now. Just shorted there at 67 point whatever. Now, I'm not entirely convinced by this trade, but I'll put a stop up at sort of 75. And if it stops me out, let's get this done. Stops me out, so be it. It's only a stop out with that amount. 58.75, right? 58.75. Okay. But the risk to reward is good, because I wouldn't touch this trade until it comes all the way down to about 13. So if it was to come all the way down, or call it 15, if it was to roll down this afternoon I don't have to touch it. So I don't have to be in with a bigger position size when the risk to this trade is there's a good risk of it getting stopped out, but the risk to reward's good. So there are two different things. You've got win rate, so the the potential, what's the words? The potential of this trade working out is lower. It's a lower odds of working out this trade because we're sitting on hourly support. But if it does roll over and break the hourly support, then this could end up being a really good risk to reward. I'm risking about 7 or 8 pips here to potentially make whatever that's going to be, call it 50 pips. So there you go. So the risk to reward is very good, but it does give you a low win rate. So these types of trades you get stopped out of more often, but then occasionally they'll work out for you, and then you end up having a whopper of a risk to reward trade. So I've put it in there with, like I said, with that small position there at 60. You can't see it, can you? Let me just move this across. So I've got short there at 67. My stop is at 75, so it's about an 8 pip stop. And like I said, there's a good chance of getting stopped out. But what I'm doing here is not willing to risk giving too much back of those gains from earlier today. So if I do lose, I'll lose probably about £20 or whatever it'll be. And so I'm not giving back too much when it's getting into the mid-afternoon. We're at 5 to 2 now. So I'll press pause for now. Okay. Right, okay, so just back, and as we can see, I've just tried that short against on the pound. Like I was saying, it was a higher risk of stop out, hence why you take it small, and it's had a nice bounce there in the end. So as it stands, there's the trades on the euro dollar from this morning. Let's actually bring it across. I think we're going to have to just leave it alone today. It's not much has gone on here today, has it? So let's just minimize that. So made 117 this morning, gave back 25 this afternoon, so a net £93 for the day, so about 100 and something dollars. Small stuff today, and couldn't really find much there, and so I shall leave it at that. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back in touch next week.